Hi crafters, well I am back and this is the final tutorial for the photo frame folio, and sorry about all my mess, but again, like I said, I've got a very small area to work in, and if you hear a little crying in the background, it's our big boy Exodus, who is sad because his mom just left and went to dinner. So we're going to go along in the book. First of all, what I want to show you, what I've been working on, or what I did a little bit of, is in the center here, I put on my little doodads here. And what we're going to do is we'll do this one together. And so what I typically do when I am doing these is I will cut this at an angle and grab two of my little pieces, and it is as easy as I take one in half, or just one like this. I put some glue on here, then I take my ribbon and I put my ribbon on the back, or yes, on the back of that little dot, just with a bit of glue, and then I take and put some more glue onto the back of here, and then I just squish them together. It's just as easy as that. Had a little bit too much glue on it, but got that, and you know, within a few minutes they do end up drying, and what that does is it stops your ribbon from fraying. I feel like it always helps this sit down a little bit better in here as well. You know, one of the things that I was hoping I could find sometime, and maybe somebody in the comments could leave me a suggestion, but sometimes my ribbons get really wrinkled from being in the books, so I was trying to find something that might be, you know, might iron that out a little bit. So there we've got our doodads in. It adds a little bit of flair to it, and makes it look just a little bit more finished. So the next thing that we're going to work on is on the back of the book. We're going to put our easel on the back, and then we'll put our flowers on. Now, I did some preparations for this because I didn't want to spend my time having you watch me cover the back of all of these pieces. So this larger piece, easel piece, I used the 5x7 chipboard piece that came out of the frame that we cut out, you know, for the front cover. And then I had just another piece of chipboard. So this was 5x7. This one is 2.5x7. And when I wrapped them, this piece I wrapped just exactly like I would wrap the cover of the folio. So you know how to do that because we did that in the beginning of the tutorial. And then this piece I wrapped how I wrapped my spines on the tutorial. So what I did for these spines. So if you want to see how to wrap those, you can go back to the beginning of the tutorial. But on the back of here, there is some open area, but we're going to cover that with paper, and we'll cover this with paper as well. And again, I have once again created as I say, a creative opportunity for myself. As you can see, I've got my paper down here already, and I actually have my paper down on the back already. So yes, I forgot. So I'm terribly sorry about that, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to rectify that by doing something else. I don't have exactly what I'm going to be doing, but I think I am going to add some of the ephemera, and or I'm going to add just a piece of paper along the bottom here, and it could be something as simple as this, and then putting a card in there. So, or maybe even making it a tuck, making it like a pocket. I may even do that. So yes, my creative opportunities are always abundant. It seems like I change things up quite often. And this time around, I also wanted to see if I could do this without using a magnet and just see if my book will stand with the way that I have the design that I'm looking at doing. So then I just take the flap from this piece and I put it down again with my art glitter glue. So I'm going to put that in there. And what I was talking about was looking at possibly just doing a pocket right here, and it's not this one, but putting one or two of the, maybe putting, you know, I wonder if I have, you know, I don't have any tape with me. But what I would suggest to do is, because some of this may hit on that a little bit, so I would put a small piece of packing tape across there, and I don't have any with me because I'm, again, up at the cottage or up north. But that would be a good suggestion to do that so that it lays over that pretty nicely. Because like if you had something like this, it would, well, that might get stuck on that, but with a larger piece of tape, I think it would work pretty well. So just a thought. So I'm going to actually go ahead and I'm going to take this and go ahead, and this is what I'm going to be putting on the back of here. And I am going to make it into just a tuck pocket, and I will put one tag in there. So I'm going to distress the edges a little bit here with my vintage photo and make sure it's facing the way that I want it to face. Okay, so I think that's it. So then what we're going to do is just take a little bit of glue along the side here and glue along the bottom. And sorry about that dog barking, but I'm sorry. There may be some dog barking in the background, and if it gets to be too much, I will turn it off and come back. The dogs have a tendency to think that they see something outside when it's really just their reflection in the windows. So however that works for them. So we have our little pocket right here, and you can see how I can tuck something in there and then it won't look like it was a mistake. And on this side, I have my paper that I cut already. I actually, when I'm doing this sheet, and if I'm folding, is this the right one? Okay, what did I do with my, I cut all of them ahead of time. And what did I do with them? I'm so sorry. This is, I don't know if this is the piece that I cut. All right, I'm going to just shut this off for a minute and I will be right back. Hi, crafters. Well, I am going to tell you, I know I cut 2 pieces ready to mat, and do you think for the life of me I can find them? And there is nowhere else to go but on this table. So I'm not quite sure what I did with them. So we're just moving on. And we're going to put this on the back to mat that. And now on the inside of this, you know, it really depends upon how much of the paper that you have left. If you have a good enough amount left, I would say go ahead and mat the inside with your patterned paper. If you don't have enough left, my suggestion would be is to mat it with, you know, just with the solid black, or you could mat it with, you know, with the, like a cream paper that would offset it, and it could be your photo mat. Might look really nice so that it looks like you intentionally put a photo mat on there. So, and like I said, I don't know where my pieces went to, so we're going to look to see if we have some other pieces that we can put on here, or quite honestly, with this one again, it doesn't have to have something on it because it's on the bottom. So it's not like it's something that's going to show too easily. Kind of looking at my scraps here. And so this is a case where you might want to look at, if you're going to do something like this, would you do, oh, that's not long enough even. Maybe looking at doing something like this. And actually, this is one of my strips again. And I wonder if we can get away with that. I think we can. I think that'll work. So I think I'm going to use this side. And I'm putting this on first because I may cut a little bit of that other off so that I can make it look like it was with a little bit of black spacing in between. So again, as I'm doing that, I'm just cutting that in half. And as I'm doing it, I'm just thinking to myself, that was 5 by 7 and not 6 inches. Oh my goodness. Was somebody yelling at me when I was doing this? Because I would have been. All right, so thank goodness for scraps. We're going to, this one will work, and actually it might even work better. So I'm going to mark that off here. That's why you keep everything you have, because you never know how you can cover these over. The other way that if I have a square, like a 1 by 1 square, I could even go along here and put 1 by 1 squares of all the leftover paper, and all the papers made to be together, so it would match depending upon the design that I put on there. But it is a way to use those smaller pieces and not waste them by throwing them away. All right, so we're going to start out by putting this down. And then we have this piece. And I think I'm going to again, this is the way I really like to cut, because it helps me get the right cutting marks for my pages. I feel like I'm more accurate. Maybe any one of you would beg to differ after watching my videos, but I think that I tend to be a little bit more accurate that way. And let's just see if we can get this one on straight. And I'm even going to keep this because I might use this in a book or a tag or a card at the end. It just depends. So then on the back of here, we're going to put this down, and I'm just going to go around the edges of that real quick. Ooh. No, I think I like the other side with the blue in it. Okie doke. So is everyone starting with their fall and Christmas projects? I've seen some really fun fall projects out there, especially on Country Craft Creations. Tamara's been making a few on her live tutorials or videos, and it looked really cute. Also, I've been seeing some postings out there for pumpkin spice. For right now, then in the inside of here, you're going to do the very same thing. You're going to mat here and mat here. But I'm going to leave this because I would like to just make sure we can get done with the rest of this in a shorter video. So I'm not sure whether you can see this or not, but I want to set my book so that it has a slight angle. It'll be kind of like that much of an angle. So when I set this down, I'll set my book back a little bit, and then what I want to do is I'm going to mark it there, and I am going to be putting my mat or my piece up this high. Not sure if you can see that, but like that, and we'll see whether it'll stay. So I'm gonna get my glue on this, and then I'm gonna let that dry a little bit to make sure that I'm not pushing it off too quickly. But if you'll remember, we made this a little bit thicker than just a normal piece of chipboard. I want to make sure I get this in the center. And the reason for that is so that it has a lip on it and that it will hold our easel. This can even be a place where you could put a gift card or a note to whomever you're giving that to. I think we can do this without, it's not going to be like, I don't think it'll be as sturdy as somebody coming along and playing with it all the time, but I think it'll be just fine. If it's not fine for you, if something happens where it doesn't stay, what my suggestion would be is to take and maybe put a magnet under here, and you could put a drop down with a magnet on it, and it could just flap like that. So, woo. I'm wondering if I should have had, yeah, darn it. Again, going to move this up a little bit because it wasn't quite right. I needed a little bit more. I needed it up a little bit higher so it would stay. There we go. That is much better. So it needs to be at a good enough angle that it actually will lean back. See? Actually, I like this easel better because I didn't have to use magnets. But the other thing is that it just was a much easier way of putting this back together, and it should stay very well. And the other thing is that it'll lay nice and flat while you're going through your book. So I think that makes a makes it a nice little trick as well. So now, the final thing that we really need to do on our book is to add some of our flowers and just to gussy this up a little bit. My plan is to put some flowers down in here. These are Graphic 45 flowers, and I've got these from Country Craft Creations. And I think what I want to do is I'm going to take and put these 3 flowers in here and kind of scoot them all together. And then I'm going to go from there as far as maybe moving up a little bit or out this way. But I'm going to start with these. And I use my art glitter glue. I don't put a lot of flowers on my albums, so I am a little bit cautious about the depth of these flowers. They aren't quite as flat as my other book flowers are. And so I'm hoping that they're going to be okay and they will be fine as they last. I think that it's probably better off to use a flower that is a little bit flatter if you have it. Now, the other thing that you can do is you can use hot glue. I don't use the hot glue because I just don't really like getting out my glue gun. I have it and it works great, but like I said, I found that our glitter glue works really well. So I'm going to put a few of those there. And then there's this nice big one that I'm going to put up over here. I did play around a little bit with this, but a lot of this is just a lot of design how I like it to look on my books or pages, and having a focal area and then also having a smaller area for the flowers. Now there are these the greenery. And I think I'm going to take a little bit of a smaller piece and put that into there. Just to give us a little bit of height there. Make sure that gets pushed down. And I think I'm going to do that. Get a little bit more glue on there. And you can use any kind of flowers that you want. You could have used a smoky blue. This is what I had in my stash from Graphic 45 that like I said, I got from Country Craft Creations. But there may be some other flowers that you like their style a little bit better. I'm wondering if I might want to do some of the smaller buds. The other thing that I really was wanting to use was this this dragonfly, but my concern was I felt like it would cover the picture so much, and that it wouldn't. I'm not sure whether it would do it justice or not. So I've kind of played around with it and done a few different things, but still not sure whether I really like it or not. See about this greenery up here. See if I can tuck that in a little bit further. Put that around. I do that. Yay or nay on the dragonfly. I wish I could hear what you guys had to say. I'm going to lift this up a little bit. I don't know. So a little bit of my process here. I think I may do that. And I usually work in, like most crafters, in groups of 3 or 5. And I know I'm probably not doing that here, but I'm almost looking at these leaves as my odd element. And sticking that up. I think that looks pretty good. And actually I have to say that that dragonfly doesn't look too bad there. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and stick it down. Let me just see where I had that. Stick that into our flowers. I love dragonflies. So I think that curls up very nicely with our design. Get those bent a little bit. There we go. And well, ladies and crafters, I think that that pretty much does it for us, other than I may even end up sticking this in somewhere, but otherwise that does it for our photo frame folio. And we have this with the bird waltz from Country Craft Creations. This is where I got all my supplies from, and my ribbon and flowers. And I hope you have fun crafting with this. My other design team project was I used the vintage Christmas paper, and so that's the one that I started off with, and you can see where the flowers are a bit flatter on here. But again, it's the same thing where you can put a photo in there. It's a little bit different inside, but fairly similar on all sides. So let me know if you have any questions, or if there's anything that I can help you with in the patterns. I've given all the measurements throughout the whole tutorials, and I hope you enjoy making it, because I think it's just a beautiful design and a really neat gift. And it really doesn't take as long as it takes me sometimes to get through these things. But I think that you could probably get this done in a weekend if you use a tutorial. It's actually pretty quick to put together. So thanks so much, crafters, and have an awesome weekend. And we'll be seeing you soon with another project next week sometime. Thank you.